Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the stage two, the best stage for this afternoon's track. And hope you've all been having a great conference and that you had a good break over the lunchtime. Perhaps got some time to spend with the sponsors at their booths, and if not, make sure you book in time in the next breaks to go and meet with them. My name is Claire Barrett, and I'm excited to be your MC for this afternoon's track, which is all around mobility APIs. And I think as we emerge from the pandemic and all of the travel restrictions to our work and holidays, mobility is something I think that's very close to all of our hearts at the moment. And we're going to be hearing from people who've been working in the midst of bringing APIs to life in that sector. And who better to kick us off than Janne Lautanala? He gives us a fresh angle on life in the C-suite. He's the Chief Ecosystem and Technology Officer at Fintraffic. Welcome, Janne.
Thank you very much, and welcome to this session on my behalf also. Yeah, so I will be talking about our traffic data ecosystem, which we believe is the best in the world. So as said, I'm working for Fintraffic. Fintraffic is the traffic management and control company in Finland, responsible of traffic management and control in all modes of traffic, and additionally responsible of aggregating and publishing traffic-related data in Finland. Here's my contact information should you want to follow me in LinkedIn or in Twitter. I will start by showing a very, very short video of our vision for traffic for year 2030. I do believe that it tells a little bit of how we believe the mobility, traffic, logistic will be radically changing during the next 8 to 10 years. So let's spend some time looking at this video.
The year is 2030. Finland has the safest, smoothest, and most environmentally friendly traffic in the world. Cars are increasingly becoming self-driving, and more of them are running on electricity and other low-emission energy sources. Ships and trains are remote-controlled, drones deliver packages, and perhaps even carry people. E-biking is the new national pastime. This trend was fueled by everything being connected to everything. Here in Finland, we have something new, a real-time status of the entire transport system, a digital twin. This digital layer has formed a platform for the growth of entirely new services and businesses. It has created a unique transport ecosystem, a network of enterprises and experts with shared goals, working towards shared success. This is now Finland's new competitive advantage. All the parts of the transport system now exchange information with each other like we have never seen before. Operating capacity in the air, on the rails, on the roads, and at sea is now much more efficiently used, and maintenance costs have gone down. Smoothly running public transport with on-demand services has become a viable alternative to private cars. The delivery time for a product from the deepest central Finland to the world markets is shorter than ever, and Finland is well on the way to achieving zero emissions across the board in traffic. But the main thing is that there are now many fewer traffic accidents, yet people and goods still get to where they're going much faster than before. Finland now has the safest, smoothest, and most environmentally friendly traffic in the world because we lead the field in leveraging transport information. We have created a new expertise, a new export, and something we all Finns can be proud of.
So, of course, if you think about the vision and where we are going, there are a number of reasons why this change is happening. So there's the urbanization. More and more people are going to live in cities and places where there are more people packed into smaller areas. We have the digitalization happening. We have the sharing economy happening, like we have seen, for example, with e-bikes and scooters and so on and so forth. But of course, there's the big climate change. It hasn't gone anywhere, and we need to fight the climate change. And these all these kind of major trends affect how mobility is evolving during the next few years. For example, in Finland, 13% of both households and companies' available money is spent on logistics and travel. That's a huge sum of money. And if we want to keep Finland competitive, we need to increase that pretty dramatically. Yet we believe that digitalization is a key enabler for reducing costs and reducing the emission. My favorite example is Ahola Transport. They have actually realized 75% reduction on emissions with the help of digitalization. So 75% is a huge reduction of the 60% emission reduction that they gain. There are, of course, the technology change, the digitalization change, and there are a number of things that are happening, both in changing the fuels, how different vehicles are being are moving, but also the level of automation, the level of digitalization is happening in all modes of traffic, and all of these will shape the development of each transport mode. And there are, of course, overall developments and dependencies that have to be taken into account when we develop the smart traffic and transport system all across Europe. The global traffic market is estimated to grow dramatically. Around 70% growth is estimated to happening. And that, of course, opens up huge amount of opportunities for all companies. But if we want to make that happen, we really need collaboration. So there are no single player who can make this change happen, but we need ecosystem, we need collaboration, how to make that happen. And of course, we need to have the data to make it happen. We believe that there are three major building blocks for creating a well-working traffic data ecosystem. We actually executed a number of interviews with key players in the field, and these three things came up on what is needed to make this happen. First of all, we need collaboration. We need to have a shared vision, shared goals, joint development, joint investments, and of course coordination between the players to make it happen. So the trust, the collaboration, the shared vision, it's really a key thing. Secondly, we need to have the data and technology and infrastructure. So technical infrastructure, data models, APIs, shared services, all of that stuff. But you need to understand that this is not a purely technology problem. We need to have all of these three. So the third thing, which is really key, is the legal rule book, fair data economy rules, the agreement templates, conventions, standards, all of these things. And based on our interviews, we believe that you actually need to have all of these three. If you lose one, it won't work. You need to have all of these three covered to make a traffic data ecosystem work properly. If we talk about the technology part, there's a very comprehensive set of capabilities needed. And we actually created a kind of architecture framework for what type of elements, both physical and digital, are needed to make things happen. If I start from the top, the different players, both for the B2B and B2C sector, will create their own services, and this is typically handled by each company or organization themselves. They want to own the user interface layer. There are customer and freight data, both statistical and real-time data about the trips and flights and stuff like that. There's the booking and selling, ordering, fulfillment part, which is needed for executing transactions. There's identity and access management. We want to understand the kind of identify the customer and provide certain capabilities. There might be also kind of personal preferences and stuff like that. There's the payment and money transfer and so on and so forth. But then there's a much more shared layer of capabilities. For example, in mobility and traffic, there's the situation awareness part. We want to know how is the traffic flowing in all modes of traffic. We need to have the route planning capabilities. So how do I get to plan from point A to point B, taking into account, for example, the particular situation? Are there traffic jams? Are there accidents? Things like that. And what is the method of transport that you're using? And typically these are something that may be somewhat shared capabilities. There's the information about available services for moving people and goods over different modes of traffic. And if you want to create travel and logistics change, you need to understand what are the available methods that you can use. There's huge amount of value-added services, and then there's the actual infrastructure information about, okay, where do I have the roads, where are the stops, what are the station ports, terminals, whatnot. And all of these things need to be working together in an interoperable way if you want to create well-working mobility services. And this is something that we are currently doing as part of our traffic data ecosystem in Finland. We actually started this work around 1 year ago. So we are the kind of coordinator of this ecosystem, and we have more than 130 organizations already involved. And there are a number of different type of organizations involved. There are the public transport operators, there are logistic operators, there are port cities, development companies, consulting companies, research institutions, there's the academia. So it's a fairly comprehensive set of different type of organization in a public-private partnership type. So we believe that this is a very effective way of increasing collaboration, increasing interoperability. We offer a very agile testing and development environment and scene for the smart traffic and mobility services. We foster the fair digital operating environment, and we work in close cooperation with traffic authorities without any bureaucracy involved. We are currently developing the rules for sharing data, so basically trying to achieve the fair data economy. We have building blocks for data architecture, situation awareness, logistic information, public transport information, and we are also part of the EU's Gaia-X collaboration for mobility area. So it's a very comprehensive and fairly holistic approach that we are taking to ensure that the mobility data ecosystem is working together efficiently. And one key thing is that we will not be concentrating solely on Finland. We will be looking at EU as the market for all of these services. We have done this in scale. Currently, the volume that Fintraffic is delivering data is fairly comprehensive. The last quarter of last year, so Q4 2021, we delivered more than 1.1 billion API calls. And it has been increasing in the rate of approximately 20% year on year. So very impressive growth rates, fairly impressive volume. And we want to continue this trend. So 25% year-on-year growth, so it's pretty impressive. Digitraffic is our main API service. We provide open data. It's open source. We have more than 100 APIs. Every day, around 1 terabyte of data is delivered every day, and it's fully cloud-based. So we are running on AWS with a very active user and developer group. If you want to get to know more, you can visit digitraffic.fi to see both the APIs and documentation. About the architecture, so where are we getting the data? We are the traffic management and control company in Finland. So from all modes of traffic, we are getting through integration data from multiple data sources. We have custom integrations. We have the data management capabilities, so basically storage on AWS. We process, format the data, do data fusion, quality control, and then basically deliver the data utilizing APIs, real-time feeds, queues. There are file downloads and so on and so forth to different parties. If required, we have the access and user management in a fairly coarse level, but basically, for example, for port context, we have implemented this access and user management for enabling that only certain parts of the data goes to the required parties. So, okay, so what are the answers that we can give, or what are the questions the data can answer? So there are a number of things. So for example, if you talk about rail traffic, is my train on schedule? Where is my train right now? Can a train take me from point A to B at time C? What are the trains that will be arriving or departing on station X at certain point of time? Or in road traffic, what are the road conditions like right now? How about in 3 hours from now? When was the road last plowed? Where are the road maintenance vehicles right now, and what are they doing? Or in maritime, where are the vessels in harbor X at this time? Or which vessels are arriving or departing? Things like that. So fairly simple questions, and the data really can answer those questions. And many companies, intelligent traffic management companies, are seeing the value through answering question to their customers, utilizing the data that Fintraffic provides. So we offer a wide range of data and services already today. We have the Digitraffic, 1.1 billion ABI calls per quarter. We have traffic situation, which is a kind of user interface for the Digitraffic services. We have the train departure, virtual monitor, and real-time train schedules. We have the feedback channel for giving feedback on traffic networks. And we have public transport route and timetable information and the route planner available through DigiTransit. So a fairly comprehensive set of services, and we are helping other companies to create great online services also with the help of data. So if you want to get started, here's how. Check out the website at digitraffic.fi. You can test the APIs in Swagger and or in browser. You can get familiar with the data. There are great applications that can be an inspiration for you. Liikennetilanne, our service, or Julia data for the railway traffic, etc., and a number of other ones. And we are encouraging trying, experimenting, innovating, and utilizing our discussion channels. You can actually contact other developers via the discussion forums and get information, support, and inspiration through that also. So this was a very quick overview of what Fintraffic is doing in the traffic data ecosystem. If you're interested to hear more, please feel free to contact me, and I am happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Janne. That was a really insightful presentation, just to appreciate the scale of where you're playing, how you're operating, the ambition that you're looking to reach is fantastic. You talked about the 130 and growing number of organizations involved in this complex space. What are some of the biggest challenges with fostering collaboration among such a large group of diverse people? How can you get them all together and aligned?
Yeah, there are a few things. So first of all, you have to create the trust. So understand that, hey, we are not coming here to take any business from you. This is really about kind of increasing the total market and kind of baking the cake, not stealing the cake from you. So that's one thing. The other thing is you have to be very, very explicit. What's in it for you? So what is the value that we think that we or this collaboration can bring to each and individual player in the ecosystem? And it's totally different from one player to another. Of course, you can create these kind of stereotypes, but you have to tailor the value proposition for each party. And it may be that for some parties, there's no value, and you have to accept that. But you have to be very explicit about the value proposition, and of course, you have to prove it, ideally with some kind of quick wins.
I think, such strong messages there. Janne, got a question from Heimo in the chat. What are some of the most important enablers that you're seeing happening at an EU level, or should be happening, to enable even better data sharing and services across Europe?
Yeah, there are a number of things. So if we talk solely about mobility, there's a harmonization ongoing on data models and so-called national access points, which Digitraffic is the national access point for Finland. So basically, we are trying to harmonize the data and provide all the parties with a single national access point for accessing that data. So we are now getting, for example, more data from cities, municipalities, and harmonizing. Fintraffic is part of the harmonization project that tries to harmonize this national access point on EU level. So that's one key thing on mobility area. There's a number of new data sets coming, for example, the EV vehicles, charging station and whatnot. If we talk more broadly about enabling things on the EU level, there are two things. First of all, there's the EU level identity and data wallet initiative, so-called EIDAS initiative, which I believe will bring the kind of EU level unified digital identity and kind of personal properties in a self-sovereign identity manner. And that's a huge enabler for different industries. The other thing is the so-called data spaces, so-called Gaia X project is trying to enable industry-specific data spaces, which is basically data models and mechanism for sharing information in a fair manner in EU level. And that's another, in my opinion, a key enabler happening in the next few years.
Fantastic. I think we're actually about to reach time. So, and we've got some more information there in the chat for those that would like to explore a little bit more about those initiatives and standards that Janne's talking about. And I think you shared the LinkedIn information, and I presume can direct message you here as well for any other questions. So thank you very much, Janne.
Thank you.
You have a great day. Great afternoon.
Thank you. You all. Thanks. Bye.